the world woke up to a new reality. Israel not only attacked Iran, attacked inside. What seemed impossible happened, and no one saw it arrive. In the dead of dawn, an unprecedented operation was placed in action. The target? The heart of the Iranian nuclear program. But the detail that shocked military analysts and governments around the world was this. The first shots did not come from outside. They came from inside Iran itself. Israeli commands infiltrated months ago began the offensive destroying anti-aircraft defense centers and sensitive infrastructures. A surgical, silent, and devastating attack. The question now is, how was this possible? According to Israeli intelligence sources, the plan began to be mounted a long time ago. Mossad agents crossed the border with fake identities, carrying drone and missile components in small, easy-to-hide pieces. These agents settled in desert regions and peripheral urban areas, always close to strategic targets. Anti-aircraft batteries, radar stations, command centers, and even nuclear research facilities. The bases were gradually assembled. In abandoned warehouses, homes rented with fake documentation, and even open areas, without any kind of camouflage. This reveals an extreme boldness, or almost supernatural confidence in the ability to operate under the nose of Iranian secret services. These secret posts were equipped with armed drones and portable missiles with sufficient range to reach the main Iranian defense systems. And they were all in position long before the attack started. For weeks, these commands did not act, just observed, collected information. They tested escape routes, simulated transmissions, the absolute silence before chaos. Then, at dawn of a day not yet confirmed by the Iranian authorities, the drones took off. But they did not cross borders. They were already inside. And the first targets were the missile launchers that protected Tehran. Each drone knew exactly where to go. Each missile knew exactly where to get it right. In minutes, critical Iranian air defense systems were reduced to rubble. What followed was a window of vulnerability, a black hole in the shield of Iran. And that's exactly where the Israeli Air Force came into action. While Iranian radars were still trying to understand what was happening, the Middle East sky was already taken over by more than 200 war aircraft. What seemed impossible became real. Israel had begun an invisible war from the interior of the enemy. Israel's air advance was as fast as accurate. The mission was clear: to eliminate any trace of resistance. For this, F-35 fighters were mobilized, true ghosts of the heavens, designed to penetrate sophisticated defenses without being detected. They were responsible for destroying dozens of radars, missile batteries, and command centers. Each target was attacked with specific ammunition. Small diameter pumps, Popeye missiles guided by surgical accuracy, all chosen to cause maximum damage to minimal boom. Meanwhile, infiltrated drones continued to act in parallel, attacking Iranian ballistic missile launch platforms. These missiles posed a direct risk to the population of Israel, and their destruction was seen not only as a self-defense measure, but as a strategic movement to cut the claws of Iran before it could retaliate. The accuracy of the actions caught the attention of experts. The targets were not only physical infrastructure, they were also people. Human targets carefully identified over months of investigation and surveillance. Among the eliminated were high-ranking names such as Hussein Salami, Revolutionary Guard commander, and Ghalami Rashid, leader of the Iranian set state. But it didn't stop there. 6 nuclear scientists linked directly to Iran's atomic weaponry program were also executed. One of them was Faridun Abbasi, former director of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization. This dimension of the operation was the one that most outlined the level of sophistication involved. It was not just a military action, but a complete campaign of intelligence, technology, infiltration, and execution. It was months of preparation, state-of-the-art equipment, trained operators to act with total confidentiality even surrounded by hostile forces. The integration between the Mossad and Israel's defense forces was total. Each movement was coordinated. Each attack was part of a deadly choreography. But perhaps the most intriguing and scary detail is the way many of these attacks were performed. Images released by the Israeli press show that the commands used spike missiles in the NLS version, a weapon that does not require direct view of vision with the target. This means they could shoot back from hills, walls, or even from abandoned buildings with almost absolute accuracy. This technology also allows you to use the missile as a recognition camera before the final attack, as if it were a suicidal drone with its own eyes. In addition, there are reports that some of the weapons were mounted on civil vehicles. The memory is immediate. By 2020, Israel performed Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, known as the Iranian atomic bomb father, with an automated machine gun hidden in a truck operated by artificial intelligence. What we saw now was raised to a much larger scale. Common vehicles transformed into attack platforms, waiting for the right time to act in the heart of enemy territory. The boldness was such that some drone bases were mounted near Iran's own defense systems, without camouflage, without sophisticated hiding places, as if the commands knew that Iranians would never think of looking so close. This exposes a gigantic failure in the country's safety and, at the same time, highlights the superiority of Israeli intelligence to operate under the radar. Even with all this destruction, what is known is that the operation did not end there. The name of the mission, Rising Lion, suggests that what we have seen so far was just the beginning. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made this clear by publicly stating that the goal is to completely neutralize the existential threat represented by the Iranian nuclear and ballistic program. According to him, facilities in Natanz were hit, scientists responsible for the development of nuclear weapons were eliminated, and central elements of Iran's missile infrastructure were reduced to dust. This statement was more than a justification, it was a warning. Israel is ready to continue, even though I know that Iran is now on maximum alert. And the big question that hangs over the international scenario is, will Iran retaliate? Or did you have just discovered that your enemies can be indoors? Operation Rising Lion has entered history as a watershed in the concept of modern war. Not just for the physical impact, but for the psychological. Iran, regional military power with robust defense systems and a feared intelligence service, has been penetrated, sabotaged, and humiliated. The feeling of vulnerability spread among the high Iranian echelons. If the Israeli commands have been able to set up drone launch bases in the Iranian territory, what else may be hiding? How many agents are still active? Where are the next hidden weapons? This kind of doubt erodes inside. Paralysa. It generates fear and distrust between the officers themselves. In response, Iran has placed all its maximum warning security services. They scour suspicious regions, interrogate residents, try to find any trace of clandestine operations. But the truth is that the damage has already been done. The credibility of the defense system was shaken. Revolutionary Guard, considered one of the country's most loyal and brutal forces, now deals with the internal accusation of having failed miserably. Retaliation is expected, but Iran's options are limited. A direct and immediate counterattack can lead to an open war with Israel and perhaps with Western allies. On the other hand, doing nothing is accepting that it was defeated without even seeing the enemy. However, even if the physical battlefield is momentarily calm, experts warn that the next phase can be even more dangerous. Cyberspace. Israel has already proved to be one of the greatest exponents of cyberwar. It was through a digital attack that the famous Stuxnet virus was planted in Iran's nuclear centrifuges for over a decade, slowing down its atomic program without firing a single shot. Today, with artificial intelligence and total integration between civil and military networks, the damage of a digital attack can be as devastating as a bomb or even more. The idea of invisible attacks is no longer fiction. Israel and Ukraine proved it. Ukraine, for example, recently wore similar Russian air bases, drones hidden in civil trucks, launched from within the enemy territory, targeting strategic targets accurately. The pattern repeats itself. We are facing a new era. The asymmetrical war based on intelligence, camouflage, mobility, and advanced technology. The military doctrine itself is changing. What previously required tanks, battalions, and weeks of bombing can now be done with half a dozen hidden experts, operating from laptops or mobile stations. And the question the world needs to ask themselves: how many countries are prepared to face this new kind of threat? The success of Israeli operation also sheds light on the growing professionalization of intelligence services. It was not just a tactical victory, It was a planning classes, infiltration, portable weaponry engineering, and coordination interactions. From Mossad to the Air Force, through IT technicians, field operators, and political strategists, each played an essential role. Nothing was improvised. Nothing was by chance. Netanyahu made it clear in his statement, "This was just the first phase." The phrase carries a dark weight. If Iran continues to develop its nuclear arsenal, Israel will act again. And now the world knows what it is capable. The message was sent low, with drones zooming in the dark and targets exploding without warning. A war without flags, without borders, without classical heroism. Just accuracy, silence, and brutal consequences. In the end, the attack served for more than destroying missiles and facilities. He officially inaugurated a new era of combat. An era where the enemy may already be inside, where the next attack can come from a pole, a pickup truck, a starting backpack. Fear now has a new form, and it's closer than ever.